Hey guys, Thomas Lucilla Jr. here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review the movie Nimona. Yeah, I know what that sounded like, but look at that look at that name and tell me that pronunciation isn't what I just said, so I don't know. Anyway, if you end up enjoying this full movie review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you over to my petition, second and third to my Patreon and PayPal, and fourth to my Discord server. Any and all donations are greatly appreciated, and my Discord will head you over to my place where you can collab and chill and do all that cool stuff. And Shilling will be reminded at the end of the review. With all that out of the way, let's get into the movie of Nimona. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, because in terms of the setup to this, I have seen absolutely zero trailers for this. I had no idea what this movie was when I saw anything of it, other than just diving in and going, well, I guess this is the movie I'm going to watch. And boy, oh boy, was I so beautifully surprised by this movie. And I mean, wow, damn, this movie. I'm going to say right now, out of the gate, few minutes in, if you have not seen this movie, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. This movie is mwah, chef's kiss. It is up there with me in Into the Spider-Verse now. Yes, I went that far up high, so if you like Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, and if you want to see some cool animated shit right now, I would highly recommend you check out this movie. This is on one of my high recommended movies right now. So we're going to kick off knowing that I'm going to praise the ever-living shit out of this movie, and doing so as objectively as possible. So that, you know, that must mean that this movie is doing a lot right. And pretty much almost virtually everything right in this case. So anyways, the movie starts off with a bit of old vintage narration, talking about this old classic kingdom in the time of eras of knights and dragons and all of this stuff, and how their kingdom had nothing to fear. This kingdom of whatever we are. I'm not sure if the land is ever named. I don't remember in the narration. Anyway, regardless, in this narration we hear that this love and fearlessness and peace were disturbed by an abrupt monster attack. But a warrior by the name of Glorith came to rescue them. And in this process, she trained others to prep up for any other incoming invasions, monster attacks, so on and so forth. And their time and memoriam has been passed down for 1,000 years. And thus we skip over 1,000 years. And boy, was I abruptly shocked by this passage of time. Not only by that, but by the sort of imagery that we are seeing here, because we see that the whole night aspect of that is withheld as this thing that they are still doing. However, everything else in this world is futuristic as fuck. I'm talking about the slick roads, the billboards, the hovering like billboards, excuse me. You know, like all, you know, like holographic sort of imagery, all this futuristic stuff, and I'm like, okay, movie, you have my attention. Again, this is coming from someone who saw nothing of the trailer, so that already caught me off guard in a pleasantly surprising way. I was like, okay, movie, you have my attention already. Keep going, please, you know? So we see that the Queen, through a news outlet, because again, we're in modern times, and the news is spread out through these very quickly and through these like holographic, billboards or whatever. That our main protagonist, named Ballister, or as I shortened his name to just Bal, so I'll just call him that for short. So he was a commoner, which and knightlyhood is not usually something that is, let's say, looked up upon very often, at least in night times. But the queen adopted him into the family, so it's a pretty big deal, and they're talking about his inauguration into becoming a knight. And to make things even more juicy, he's being knighted with his boyfriend. Yes, his boyfriend. And we see that they're clearly together as they hold hands, and one of the first lines of dialogue spilled by our boyfriend character named, hold on, it's written way down in my notes, and I do apologize for this, because I gotta look for it now, so just give me a second. Okay, just give me a second here. Sorry about this. Oh yes, Ambrosius, or as I shortened his name, because that's a long name, Ambrosius, to Ambro, or Am. I don't know. I just shortened it to Ambro. So yes, him and his boyfriend are being knighted. And I gotta say, okay, Netflix, I see you trying to outdo the LGBT plus prep over Disney right now. Okay, you're already, like, Netflix. Okay, I'm seeing you now. I'm looking at you now. Okay, you caught my attention again. Damn, you outdoing the gay on Disney? On Disney, one of the quote-unquote main hubs for the LGBT, because they've been fucking it up a lot with that even too lately, with the cancellation of what was it, Owl House. And yeah, Netflix already fucked up once too with the cancellation of the trans show, the Dead End Park. So both have fucked up on that front. But okay, I'm willing to be like, well, they're still willing to do gay characters, so they're not quite there at the trans character still yet, I guess. Or they're still shaky on it, because, that's still a hot topic issue. Surprise, surprise. But okay, they're willing to open up the door to at least the gays as main character. Let me emphasis on that. As a main character. Because let me ask a question, and I want this to be answered genuinely. How many main characters are gay in a story? In an animated story? I struggle to name more than the one I'm currently looking at right now, kind of shockingly, because the Owl House, and again, because I choose to separate all of the letters, the Owl House is of a representation of, well, a lesbian and, in that case, a bisexual character, main character. So those two letters covered in the LGBT, or the LGB, until the T, I guess. But the G has not gotten a lot of attention. Just gonna be upfront about that. Again, maybe I'm just misremembering, or I don't know a lot outside of animated movies. I know there's one other. I know that there's one other, but I don't know their names. I don't know what it's from. So I don't know if I can even include it. Because I don't know what it is, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure there is at least one other. But that is a shame that I can't even name more than 5. That is embarrassing, quite frankly. Anyway, lo and behold, we're gonna have some drama with our duo here, as we see their director come in of like the Knights, and so they all hush up because they're all like sort of, being all nonchalant or whatever they're being. And so, as she prompts them all to go out, they all go out. His boyfriend gets knighted first. He's up next. Bal is. Excuse me. And so he's given his sword, and like they do it in a display in which he holds like the sharp end towards him, or towards him in a gesture, like handing it that way. And unfortunately, what happens next is like at the other end of the sword, where the hilt is, this sort of green inlay gem thingamabob opens up, which has a laser attached to it, and this all plays in sudden slow motion. We see this green laser jut out of the hilt and hit the queen dead. So, our once knighted Bale, in response to all of this, is blamed instantly because, he was the one with the sword at the time. And so everyone's like, oh my god, he killed the queen. And so we see all of this play out, and he runs off, not really even sure what happened, or at least trying to like recollect himself to a degree. And we cut to a different location after he has fled the scene to our other main character named, Nimona, seeing the news play out as such, and thinks that he is perfect for the job, or a job that she has in mind. So yeah. Anyway. Hold on. Okay. I'm just looking over my notes here real quick, just to make sure I'm not losing my place here. So anyways, so she wants to, like, be his sidekick, which is like, okay, that's an interesting thing. Like, yeah, she's just like, that's what she wants. So it's like, okay, it's an interesting want from a character that, and she's like a younger character, so it's like, okay, that's pretty neat. So she goes to his hideout, I guess I'll call it for better or worse. And she gets there relatively quickly, knocks on the door, and when he goes to open it, sees nobody, and then turns around and sees her. And she's like, trying to be like, hey, I want to, like, be your sidekick. And he's freaking out, of course, because, like, he has no clue who she is. So he's trying to figure out all this stuff relatively quickly. He's like, I can figure this out on my own. And lo and behold, as soon as he tries to figure it out on his own, he gets arrested pretty quickly. And we see that he now currently has one arm. If you can't tell, the left arm on the poster there is a metallic arm, and an actual metallic arm, as in his arm has been cut off by, yes, his own boyfriend. Because this is like a thing that knights do when they're punishing other knights. And to be quite frank, that usually is far worse than any consequence a knight probably would get for, killing the queen or being even suspected of doing so. Usually that leads to instant beheading. Just gotta point that out. It's usually far worse for any of those history buffs out there. If you know. And I know a little bit of history, just a smidge. And I know that the whole knight thing, just like any other thing in history, has its dark side to it. So it's like, yeah, I know. I see it. I know it. Anyway. So, surprise, surprise, when he's in his jail cell, Nimona, I'm just gonna call her Nim for short, because I'm shortening everyone else's name. So, N-I-M, Nim. So, Nim sneaks into the prison and then back out, and doing so in a way that he's just not seeing. And as soon as she says, like, oh, you're just, like, being all angsty, he corrects her in saying that he's brooding, to be using the more correct term. And so, she prompts him by saying to not freak out, as people are, like, coming in, and, he's like, okay, we gotta get out, and she's like, well, I know, I can get us a way out, and he's like, so she's like, okay, so you gotta promise me not to freak out. So he's like, okay. And then she, like, doubles up and even triples up and, like, quadruples up. And then he's like, okay. And then she finally reveals that she can turn into other animals, or at least at the very moment, a rhino at the very most. And during their escape, as he's, like, questioning how she can even do this, turning into a rhino at first, she reveals that she can indeed turn into other animals, as an animal shapeshifter, and does so during their escape. During their escape, at some point, he, like, gets knocked out, I guess. So he, like, wakes up in his bed, back in the hideout, and he asks how long he's been out, and she responds at first, like an X amount of years, and then he's like, what? And then so she's like, I'm just messing with you, it's only been like a few hours. So he's trying to gauge more information about her at this point, because she kind of came out of the blue and just rescued him now, so it's like, okay, like, what's going on here? She explains that she is hated, very much akin to how, well, after he's been, regarded as this, queen killer, as it were. After seeing what she can do, he refers to her as a monster, so this is in reference to the whole Knights thing. This is when she refers to herself as Nimona, her full name. This comes up quite a bit often, and I gotta say, for a show or a movie that is doing this, I gotta say, for a this is so bizarre for a Netflix thing that just it feels like not even that long ago anyway, just at some point canceled a transgendered show with a trans main character, canceled that show. But then, you're gonna have a movie that's gonna be, like, trans positive. Interesting. And I'm fairly certain the reason how this happened is because they weren't aware of this. They weren't aware of the clear representation of what this movie is all about. Are you kidding me? This just puts a smile on my face, because it blows up everything. It really does. It exposes Netflix to a degree that this movie just came out, and it's like, yeah, you dropped the ball, Netflix. You were like, when the trans character admits that he is trans and everybody is on the whole trans hate train, or at least half of the country is, or conservatives are at the very most. It's like, we gotta freak out. We gotta cancel everything that's trans related. Get rid of Dead Park. We can't be associated with that. But the moment a trans coded character is in a movie, because that's what this character is, it's like, oh, this movie's fine. Interesting. Interesting, when a thing is coded, it's all fine and good, but the moment you admit what it is, that's when it gets canceled. I'm sure of it. I am confident that is the reason that this has happened. I am 100% confident in this. So yeah. Good going, Netflix. You bumbled yourself back into having a trans-coded character. And I have to say trans-coded because it's not a clear. She never says like, oh, I'm trans in the movie, because that movie would have gotten canceled probably due to what I just explained. So she's trans-coded. They have to allude to her being that she can transition what she is into something else freely. Literally taking the word "tran" as what it is meant to derive from, to transform into one thing to another. That's like the full word, So yeah, good going, Netflix. You bumbled yourself back into being trans positive. Coded. As long as it's coded, we're all good in the neighborhood. Am I right? Right, I'm right. I nailed it. I fucking nailed it. Okay, moving right along. So she doubles up on saying, I want to be your sidekick forever. Or as long as, we're chilling, we're along, I mean, she poses it out for forever, but we know what that actually means. However, things aren't going as well on the other end of the shtick. For Ambro, that is, because he's, he is on a whole nother spectrum of seeing this, because he saw it from the other lens and understanding of this, and he's also been tasked to detain his own boyfriend. So yeah, he puts himself actually in charge, in fact, to make it even more of a thing. So the director, after that little bit of info, makes a monster attack alert, sort of like, this is a drill, or like, just like prompt people to be like, hey, be wary out there, but not too worried out there. Everything's fine, as it were. So now, unfortunately, both of them are wanted, because they were caught on a camera. So they have her face, and they have his face. This is when they were escaping on a train, by the way. So they have both of their faces. Now they're on all the wanted futuristic billboard purposes, posters, excuse me, on the wall. So it's up to him to do the capture. And so now that they are both wanted, they do the transforming towards the train now, after the fact. So they head towards the train, because he's like trying to sneak in to like clear his name, because they have a lead in the squire that was there, the one that gave him the sword. So they're trying to get to him. So they work their way into the subway, because we're in, the current timeline, we're not in old times. But, unfortunately, as we see, the place is being guarded. So, she transforms into him. So she can even transform into people, very clearly. not just other animals. I mean, humans are animals, so that makes sense. So, that fits. So she plays up this over-characterized version of... because she keeps referring to him as a villain, because that's sort of what she was expecting him to be at first, anyway. So, they escort themselves into the train after her distraction as him, and during this, we see that the camera footage has been recorded, and Ambrose spots this. And during their train ride, we see a little dragon commercial. And it's a cute little commercial that has, like, it has that old school song. And it's funny, because I know the actress from this is in Kick-Ass, and they use the same song from Kick-Ass here as well. The Tra-La-La song. They use it in both, and I'm just like, another movie that has the same actress and the same song. Good going, Chloe, you did it again, with the same song. I'm sure that was, scripted or figured out it somehow, to be like, we're gonna do that. As a little, nod to, I don't know, Kick-Ass, maybe? Because that was also Chloe. Anyway, so as they're continuing down their ride, and he's still trying to gauge what she is, and this is now the next time she reinforces that she is her. She is her. And, I mean, she uses her name, but I know that's, sort of a setup for, you do that for the whole noun thing that, conservatives get their panties in a bunch over, because they're like, oh, I'll never use the they, them pronouns, and blah, 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 and all that bullshit, right? And it's like, so she's just gonna do it with her name, and she's gonna keep reinforcing it, but yeah, that's my name, though. It's like, yeah, that's how you use your nouns. It's like, yes, that's how you use your nouns. Double yes. And you keep reinforcing the statement over and over again until infinitum, because that's how that works. Anyway, and just so, and I was keeping count, because in the movie, of how many times she has done this so far, and in my notes I didn't say every time, but at this point of the film, this is actually her 4th time doing it, just to keep track of the amount of times she does say it. So she's reinforcing that throughout the movie, just to be crystal clear with everybody. And so he's like, okay, so maybe I should ask another question. He's like, so how did you get your powers? So she's like, oh, fine, I'll go over it. So she talks about how she found a wishing well and made a wish that she alludes to something. I forget exactly what it was, but then she says, and that is how, I ended up wishing to be on this train with you, or, sort of like scapegoating, or not, I don't want to say scapegoating the answer, but sort of alluding, or half alluding to the answer, but not full answer, sort of she swerved right at the end there, and I'll explain more about what I mean when I say that. So, anyway, unfortunately, during the end of their train ride, since they were caught on camera, Ambrose's squad is already at the other side, and so she turns into a gorilla and helps them ape escape. Because that's a reference I'm gonna make, because she turns into an ape, so I'm gonna say ape escape. Sorry, but not sorry. So, anyways, during their approach now that they're even closer to where they just somehow know that, yeah, I'll admit they just somehow get to where the square is conveniently a bit. She's like, okay, so, and he's like, he keeps like trying to like get her to like calm down in her use of this ability, and she's like, no, you know you're gonna want me to use this later on, so I might as well use it too, you know. And she keeps like overdoing it anyway. So he's like, okay, do it a little bit, you know, it's a compromise, fine, you know, do it to a lesser degree kind of ordeal. So she turns into a boy. I wonder what that's a code for. A girl who turns into a boy. I can't put my big brain about what that's a code for. Oh my god. And the dialogue seems to suggest that now he, because I'm gonna stick to the noun that would be associated with, now he would be okay with that, you know, because that's what they're doing, or at least coding doing, because they can't directly say what they're clearly doing. Transgender symbolism, and even transsexualism. A little bit of both. Why not both? You know? If you're gonna do transgender, might as well get some transsexual stuff in there. Do it both, because this movie got away with doing both coded in one. Beautiful. French kiss. Got away with it. Beautiful. Lovely. Do it more. I would want to see more. Because we need to shed the stupid nonsense that has been going on for far too long, that we're still fighting about. For whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is anymore. Because people gotta hate on somebody. And when I say people, I mean conservatives. Sorry, but not sorry. It's just the truth of the matter. So anyways, they go into the square, and they find our squire. Sorry for the cut. You know, things happen sometimes. Anyway, as I was saying, yes, they're looking for the squire in the square. Because that's some alliteration for you. So anyways, where was I? Jeez, that cutoff really bummed me out in terms of where I was in my notes. So they find him, and indeed, captured him in a escapades of situations where he ends up like in a car, and the person there inside thinks like he's trying to buy a car, and as a boy, he Nimona is trying to get this squire to be elsewhere in the car now. So they get him in the back of the car while everyone, you know, all the knights are like hurtling at their location. And they manage to barely escape with a shitload of arrows on the back of their car. So they return back to the base, and they see that Nimona has been hit with an arrow, with one of the arrows. And so he proceeds to show that he really is legitimately starting to care for her. So this is like the first like experience where it's like, oh, he's like actually like really showing that this different side. He like pulls the arrow out and makes sure, despite the lack of pain, that he will still take care of it and wrap it up just to make extra sure that nothing's, you know, out of the ordinary in that regard. So, you know, there's that. So he kind of re-gauges back to the questions, though, because he's still kind of curious. He's like, okay, so what does it feel like So he's still gauging different questions about, like, what does it feel like to transform? So this is a new a line of questioning. And so, oh, here we go. When she transforms and is allowed to be her or him or whatever they choose to be. I used a they pronoun for a singular character. Oh my god. Whatever they choose to be, yes, I'm gonna do it this time, because we're going all over the place. Fuck it. They choose what they want to be, and at current, she wants to be her, so that's cool. So anyways, so she does that, and explains that she feels free, so again, coding. And explanation for coding. There you go. Anywho, we learn through this video that that the Squire has on him that the director, shock, was the one who swapped the sword out for another sword that had this laser thing attached to it in the first place. So it was all the director all along! But now it's like, why? And all this stuff. And he's like, I can't believe it. And he wants to directly take this video to Ambro. Well, she's just like, just expose him or whatever, you know. But he still thinks that this will... once this video evidence has been brought to Ambro, that everything will be fine. So, he goes right to the castle, and they are immediately swarmed, the both of them. And he's like, I know the truth, I have video footage, and unfortunately, before he can reveal said video footage, the video itself is shot, so they don't have their proof anymore. So we see that he is still trying to gauge Ball is trying to gauge, you know, some sort of like, you should believe me, regardless of not even having that proof. You should believe my word, Ambro. You are my boy. You know, I thought we were, you know, we were cooler than that. We were boyfriend and boyfriend. So, you know, all that stuff is like starting to shred at the seams too. You know, the relationship status is put on question mark. Because drama is the insertion of this. But Ambro's filled with uncertainty, or at least more so now than he was ever before, so there's that at the very most. But despite that, they're still wanted, because, again, they currently still don't have any proof. So, despite the lack of change on either side, he, you know, Ball was like, you know what? I didn't want to have to do it to him. Nimona, do your thing. So she shapeshifts in front of everybody, and does so to help them escape. But during their escape, an interesting, series of events that really helps illuminate even more of this film's themes happens, as during their escape, something, I believe this vehicle or something, is about to fall on this small little kid. And so, as a creature, she saves the kid very clearly. So the monster saved the kid. And turns back to, like, a humanoid figure to show, like, hey, you know, we're cool. But, despite being saved, despite it, he still holds up a sword, or she, I forget which one it was, because I don't remember, quite frankly. It looked, I think, if I remember correctly, Nimona said it was a girl, so I'm just gonna say it's a girl. I'm gonna follow the movie's line on that one, I guess, because I remember that much. Because I didn't write it in my notes. Anyway, she still held up the sword, despite being saved. And it's because of that monster phobia. That transphobia. Oh, did I explain the coding again? Whoopsie doodle. Whoops, my coding is just slipping all over. Oh my god. Geez, I'm sorry, I'm slipping the code. Oh, geez, oops. Anyway, we're moving right along as I continue to slip and slide over that coding and explain it all, so nobody is getting lost on how much this movie has slipped past the Netflix, don't be direct line, I guess. So anyways, she is really mad when they return back to the base, even sad. And she's cursing out how these kids are so indoctrinated by the system and by how everyone else sees this outsider, her as this monster, and that it must be vanquished, or it must be eradicated, or the transgender movement must be eradicated, it must be removed, it must be, oh no, am I doing the coding thing again? Oh geez, it just keeps spilling out into all of the things that are currently happening now with certain low-life, right-leaning people being like, hey, we should get rid of this altogether. It's like, well, this mirrors that reflection pretty, monstrously, that perhaps the director, them, the true bad along the way that created this issue to begin with was the true monster all along. Oh no, I explained the coding. I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong. I'm just spilling that code again. I don't know, man. Oops. Anyways, so Ball's listening and to her divulge this pain that she is going through, and boy, does she really just nail it when she says the line of, like, how she saw how much the world, how much they wanted to drive the sword, as that young girl did, and held it up to her. Sometime, that has been done at that moment, and how much probably it's been done in the past, and how much she's gone through it, that she just kind of wants it to happen at this point. She kind of just wants to fall on the sword, kind of wants to give up, give in, just die, almost. Did I? I'm sorry, I spilled the code again. Oh, geez, oops, on that one, I guess. Geez, I can't even explain it anymore. It's just happening. It's crazy. So anyways, we gotta move on. We gotta get back to the plot. So we cut back to them formulating a new plan of sorts. And boy, how they formulate plans in this movie. They literally go something, 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 and we win. And boy, did that come up funny, how they implemented the setup and the payoff of the something, something, something win plan. And I found that bit pretty funny when they did it, so yeah, I'll say that was a successful joke. So anyways, they die, so we see Ambro invade, or go into, the director's place of operation. And he sort of directly calls her out for what she did. And she explains it pretty quickly, actually, not really trying to sweep anything under anywhere, saying how she indeed stabbed or set up our main character to take the fall because the queen wouldn't listen to her about the monsters. I wonder what that's coding for. It's like, and she wanted to take control. I wonder who's trying to take control now. I couldn't have said the word earlier. Could I have said oh, jeez. I might have said conservatives. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Did I let that slip again? Oh, man. Shit. Well, fuck. Oops. My bad. I shrunk. Anyway, so we see that Ball comes out recording this entire situation because that wasn't Ambro all along, who got stabbed in the chest, by the way, seemingly so, and did an overreaction, so we know something was up at that point already. Lo and behold, it's Nimona doing her shtick, turning into someone else. And her ability to not take pain in the normal amount of way, and using that to their advantage. So they post the video, and that video goes viral, of her admitting to what she did, and boy oh boy, do they just start celebrating, because they think they dab on him, that type of level of victory, they just, oh, the beautiful, just absolute fine calling. So Ambro, the real one, enters in, but unfortunately, we see that our old director finds a conveniently placed scroll that explains everything. And oh boy, did this take a turn that I actually wasn't, despite I saw one other review saying how much of this movie is like you can call it. I'm like, I didn't see that coming at all. I'm like, okay, this is taking a turn I did not see coming at all. So yes, the director has an out, and she uses the transformation, this a trans person, perhaps in a video, maybe getting angry, maybe getting a little angry as a scapegoat. I wonder, oh geez, if only there haven't been videos of people, certain conservatives doing that, oh geez, if that didn't exist on the YouTube still to this very day. Oh no, they do? Oh no. Oh no, I'm virtually vomiting the code out at this point. Oh jeez. Oops. Oh no. So, yes, they scroll to the scroll has an image of her, aka Nimona, burning the village as a dragon on it. So yes, that is what he is given. So he's even in disbelief, because he's like, oh, what the fuck? So yes, he does indeed place the scroll in front of her, and she's just absolutely like, how did you even come across this? And she's like, this is another lie. Don't you see what's going on here? And, lies versus, truth lies versus lies. Which one are you gonna believe? I mean, unfortunately, if the lies is convenient enough, it comes off as truth. Huh! I wonder what that could be an allusion to. Certain conservatives telling the people half-truths, portion truths. and even lies about certain things to get out other people on your side. Oh, well, I'm vomiting the code. I'm vomiting the code. Oh, jeez. Oh, it's all coming out. Oops. Oh, no. If only that hasn't been happening over every conservative, from the Ben Shapiros to the Matt Walshes to the whoever the other asshole is. I already forget his name. They're all idiots who spill nonsense, and, you know, I can go over how broken all of their arguments are on a whole separate video, but I'm here to go back to the review, because that's... Oh, I spilled too much code, so I gotta get back to the movie, you see. So, yeah, she's a little bit distraught by that. So, yeah. So she's out. She's like, you know. And all the while, Belle's place is getting stormed because the, one of the knights figured out his location from one of those, setup things, I guess. Anyway, we cut back as she's fleeing the scene, as she runs back to the well she mentioned from her flashback, but now we see the actual flashback. And we see that she had the ability to transform any time. Oh my god, trans kids? Transcoded? Oh no, I'm doing the coded thing. But as a kid, oh geez, I'm exposing the code of this entire movie, slip-slopping all over the place. It's crazy how easy this is to explain. Oh my god. So yes, she always had the abilities to transform because that was always a part of her. I wonder what that's a code for. Trans kid. Trans kid. Code. Blah, blah, blah. Back to the movie. So she was like trying to be like a little bird. At the start of the sequence, and she's like flocking with another bird, but the bird's like, nah. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna try to be in a fish. The other fish, you know, she's trying to fish it up. The other fish are like, nah. She's like, okay, that didn't work. Let me try you some deer. So she goes with some deer. She's like a pink deer, so she's consistently pink during all of her transformations, by the way. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna deer it up. But the deer are like, nah. So she's like, damn, well, okay. So she comes across this well in the flashback, and she, lo and behold, comes across, and this is the real flashback, a human girl. Huh. Interesting. Okay. And again, I didn't even piece together how this was gonna go, so this also caught me off guard. So, this girl sees this, well, now other girl, because she's transformed into a human girl, Nimona, as we see her in a younger form, just as a humanoid, confronts, or, you know, the other girl, confronts her after, like, she, like, tosses a rock. I forget, she's, like, throwing a rock into the well or something to make her own wish. So she comes across, she bumps into Nimona, or not literally bumps into, but figuratively bumps into Nimona. And she's like, here, come with me. So she's like the first one to be like, hey, you're okay. Get in. Interesting. So once she appeared human, appeared to fit in, as it were, she was accepted. The coding it's just washing all over me right now. What could that mean? It's like, as soon as you just fit the thing that you're subscribed to be, people just accept you. Oh my god. It's like, if you dress well enough for a woman, say that you're a woman, and do all that sort of stuff, people over time just go, yeah, that's, you know what, fine. It's like, oh my god, did I just decode that whole sequence for you in real time? No way. Whoopsie doodle, I did it again. orienting all over myself, or whatever the word is, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm going loopy reviewing this movie, because boy do I love it so much, because boy does it sure kick the shit out of every message I've been seeing for the past few... has it been like a full few years of this bullshit about how trans people are the evil? It's like so beautiful just to see this movie come out and just be like, nah, brah. You got it wrong. We got it wrong, as this movie directly states in its dialogue. What if we were wrong? We the people. The ordinary people. The ordinary people. So yes. Anyway. So yeah, she's cool and vibin', and the other girl is cool and vibin'. And so, through their escapades of chillin' and vibin' for a few minutes or however long, you know, she's like, okay, let me transform, let me test the limits. And at first the other girl's like a little bit like, you know, bewildered, but she does the cool thing, at least initially. She's like, oh, you can do that, that's cool. Oh my god, young people accepting other people just cause it's cool to just accept people that are different from you? Oh my god, what could that be code for? Ooh. I'm gonna leave that one on the dark side, I guess. I'm just alluding to the possibilities are endless, maybe. At this point, right? Anyway, so yeah, they're initially pretty cool. So they're chilling. She's like, you know, transforming pretty willy-nilly for her. They're friends. They're playing along. They're having a good time on their own steep. But unfortunately, they start to slide over to the rest of the village. And boy, oh boy, when the rest of the village see that she can freely transform, their phobia, aka their fear, sets in. They fear, you see, what they don't understand. Oops, geez, I just broke the code again, you see. Oh no. So they have the pitchforks, they have the torches, literally, the actual pitch and, you know, the old school, like, pitchfork and flames. And they're, like, literally poking her and prodding her and, like, you know, like, oh, monster, get out, get out. And they're, like, poking with her with the fire, by the way. The humans are the one who initiates the attack, and the fire sparks off of her body on into the fire, so that was still the humans' fault. But then the village catches on fire, and now the girl sees this, and, you know, she misconstrues it as to somehow she did that, Nimona did that. And she quickly shifts from, you know, you're cool, get in, to you're a monster, get out. So yes, and lo and behold, this little girl was that girl from 1,000 years ago. That's right, this girl was Glorith from the narration. So Nimona is like 1,000+ years old, but she's like a teen, or appears as a teen, pretty consistently throughout when she's in her humanoid form. So yeah, she's old. So yeah. Oops. That explains that poster. They probably prompted that poster after the fact to spread that bit of misinformation as truth. Uh-oh, I'm spilling the... just spill that code all over the place. Sorry if you hear fireworks in the background, by the way. It's almost the 4th of July in terms of recording, so people are already celebrating. Because that's what us Americans do on the 4th, you know? Anyway. So, yeah. So, all of this information as she escaped, you know, all of the recollection of all the negativity she's been thrown, even through our protagonist his words of like, Miss calling her a monster and saying these things as well, because he was in that way too at the start of the film. All of it just piles, so much to the degree that she turns into for the first time in the movie, a pitch black sort of monster, and starts to make her way towards the city, because she's just had it. She's broken. She's had enough. She's tired of all of this nonsense. She's heading back in, and the people are seeing what appears to be an actual monster from their point of view, and they're freaking out, and now the real monster alert's on. Oh no, everyone's freaking out even more, as it would turn out, because chaos turns into a greater chaos now that this has gone off from step 1 all the way to step whatever the hell we're on now. And yeah, in the process of it sort of lumbering into the city, it gets the shit out of it. I'm talking about missiles are being shot at this creature at this point. And it is just lumbering towards the center mass of where all of this mess has been piled on from. That being from the director mostly, and that's where she's oriented. That is her current location, so that is her goal. And in the meantime, she's throwing away the propaganda. Because that propaganda for kids is like, oh, the monsters are the evil ones, enjoy your breakfast. You know, that sort of commercial. It's like, oh, jeez. So yeah, she's, everyone's like, oh, jeez. So the director's like, blast him. So they blast her some more. And they're like prepping more cannons. And they have like the super beam cannon in case there weren't enough of those. And all the while, people are like freaking out and being all sad and stuff. And she's like, the director's willing to just nuke this entire section just to get rid of this one problem that they created themselves. Oh man, I can't decode that one. I mean, it's not like when you create a scapegoat and the scapegoat decides that it's gonna get pissed at the thing that created the scapegoat in the first place. Geez, that's just the description of the movie at this point. So anyways, so she's not having any of it. So she's ready to fire. But our young Nimona is like, I'm ready to do it. She turns into what I can assume is a phoenix and charges in. But not before this. I mean, she dives in after what I'm about to say, So she's like in this Times Square type area, I guess, and people are like on the outskirts. They're looking towards it. She's on all the monitors, so on and so forth, and she's in front of the statue of Glorith because she's been commemorated as this, celebrated as this heroine for so long. So she's in front of her, which she has her sword held out. That is the pose she was put in. So, alluding to that thing that we heard her say before about, she's so ready to give up. So she's right at the tip of the sword. So she's ready to stab herself, and everyone's like looking on. Like, they're in absolute, like, what's happening? Like, this monster's about to like kill itself or something? Like, what the... Whoa. Everyone's confused, right? And then we see our main protagonist here, or our other protagonist, I should say, at this point, Ball, manages to get all the way up there, and simply holds his hand up. She's like at the tip of the blade still, and he holds his hand up because he's on top of the blade. So he's like hitting her chest and saying, I'm sorry. And he like reimbursed his apology, and he's like, I'm sorry I did this to you, I'm sorry I thought this way, I'm sorry I allowed this to happen, so on and so forth. So she transforms back into her, I'll just say it, her teenage form at this point. And they hug it out, and everyone's like, what? What is happening, because these people who were just like outsiders to this whole situation, they saw this monster come in that they didn't know what it was, and now that it's transformed into this teenager, they're like, what? Their brains are like going into like big meme mode at this point of like, what's going on, And so he has stopped this simple, misunderstanding, the simple attack, as it were, displayed from the other side, simply by just saying, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I misjudged. I fell into the propaganda. I fell for the misinformation. I fell for it all. I'm sorry. I've woken up. I got woke. Oh no! I'm spilling the, that one slipped out. Oh, jeez. Oh, I'm sorry. Whew. That was just rough. That was challenging to see how that word just naturally flowed out of my mouth hole, you see. Anyway, we're gonna continue on with this movie review. As now she decides that she wants to put an end to this, you see. So she charges into that laser as that phoenix, and everyone sees this, by the way, and and the explosion is obviously suppressed to that area, though. But our main man Ball is not looking too hot, because he's like looking for her. He's like, oh geez, we clearly lost her, but that's not how this movie is gonna end. So you already know that something else is gonna happen. Anywho, but he's still like freaking out, and everyone else is like, oh man, this is like what's been happening, and they finally reveal like the outside, because they were walled in for so long in this inductionated nightly world, and now the wall has been broken, and now people are like, what's past the, I wonder what that could be a code for. Now that we opened up our eyes, we've got woke, we can explore, we can free ourselves to newer possibility. Oh my god. Did I just decode that one? Oh jeez. Oh, look at me go. Just, I'm a mess. It keeps happening. I don't know. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. Anyway, back to the movie. We cut to some time later, I don't know, an undistinguishable amount of time, perhaps a few months. People have now completely shifted their tune, because now they know the real truth. So now they're like, oh, we really missed that Nimona. She was like actually like really cool. She even helped us at the very end. So she was like a hero. Oh my god. So yeah, everyone's like, they miss her, and our protagonist misses her profusely. So he starts like head back to his hideout, because that's like his home now at this point. But not before he reunites with his boyfriend from the previous, and oh my god, they do it, they share a kiss. Oh hallelujah, two guys kissing. Wait, haven't seen that ever in an animated thing with two main characters as gay characters since ever. I've never seen it. It's always been side characters. Every single time. I've never seen two gay main characters in an animated movie kiss until now. Holy fuck. and not in an animated, like, side project that's, like, hidden in YouTube or something between, you know. Because the only other thing, because now I'm, like, thinking back to, like, oh yeah, there was, like, that short animated film called In a Heartbeat, right? Because that's, like, the only other one that I can think of that had two animated gay characters, but they didn't have any dialogue. That was all about, you know, animation, you know, storytelling through animation and all that stuff. So yeah, Young Gay Love was that whole shtick, but, you know, that was a while back, so I had a hard time remembering it. Sorry. It took me till now to finally remember it. So yes, there is at least one other thing that I can think of. But hey, this is Netflix. This is big scale. This is like, and you know, it has all that other stuff that I accidentally coded out to you. Whoops. So yes, our two lads kiss, and again, it's like, even I'm still like, damn, that is not a lot. That is still not a lot. In terms of people people on the outside, or, you know, certain other people keep saying there's too much LGBT rep these days, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where the fuck is it? Because I'm not seeing any of the good shit a lot anywhere. The Owl House fucking canceled. Dead End Park fucking canceled. All the good shit keeps getting fucking canceled. What are you talking about, good rap? All the good rap keeps getting canceled. All the good LGBT rap canceled. Where's the good LGBT rap that just stays? I can't think of much else that has actually stayed, so I hope this movie gets to pop off, and I hope people actually go see it, for God's sake. So yeah. Anywho. So he goes back to his old hideout, which is, again, his home at this point, I guess. So he fixes it up. He's like, oh, it's a mess. And he hears the door knock, so he's like, oh jeez, because remember the door knock at the beginning of the movie, so he, like, rushes out to the door, and he opens it to see nobody's there. But then he hears a voice behind him, and it's Nimona voice, because, you know, she lived, because, you know, she was like a phoenix at that point, so phoenixes resurrect. That's what they just inherently do. So she was very smart to pick that animal, or, you know, incarnate of type of animal, I guess. And he's like, holy shit, and the movie ends, and boy, oh boy, did I love this movie. Oh, if you couldn't tell. This movie is fantastic. I loved this movie. It was great. Boy, oh boy, I highly recommend it. I give this movie a 10 out of 10. I'm just, this movie is so good. Peak movie with a very clear message. A lot of it had to be coded, and I'm like, sigh, I get it, whatever. But it's like, yeah, it's like, this is so good. It's so good. Just to be like, I smell the purpose. I smell it past the coding a mile away, and I'm grinning ear to ear because, oh boy, does it just put a smile on my face to be like, yeah, this is it. This is what it looks like to be right the whole time about this whole issue. This whole issue just exposed in one movie. French Kiss. Beautiful. Recommend. If you haven't seen it, go see this movie. Please support movies like this. We need more of this. My name is Thomas Vasilla Jr., aka Mustached Tom, and if you enjoyed this full movie review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe as well. Also, check out those links in the description. I want to head over to my petition to help out smaller YouTubers, second and third to my Patreon and PayPal, so help support me and my channel directly, and fourth to my Discord server where you join, collab, and chill and do all that cool stuff. And until next time, see this movie, and bye!